Okay, look at that. This is beautiful, right? So I suggest that we paint that together today. We're gonna first do the drawing, and I'm gonna tell you a few things about how I draw my pictures. So the first thing to do is to report on the paper this framing. Okay, so let's do on the paper. You can take a ruler and get the measures, and let's say you multiply by 2, and then so you get 1, 2. Okay, but what is important is that you get exactly the right proportions between high and wide. Okay, once I have done my framing, I will find the horizon line. I'm looking at the picture, and the horizon line is very low in the picture. Where is the horizon line? It's where the lines are horizontal. And it's probably somewhere here. Could be here, could be like here, but what is important that it's somewhere here and not in the sky, for example. This is a mistake you don't want to do. Then, do you see that the building is going that way? It's falling from right to left, following a line that if I do the line, I'm going like that and out of the paper, and it meets the horizon line outside of my paper, meaning like here. So that's my first vanishing point. And from there, I'm gonna do a few lines to help my construction. Okay, easy. What do I see? There's another vanishing point somewhere, because when you're facing the building, it's falling like this, but on the side, you see those lines, they're going somewhere out of the frame, like here, okay? So we got a second vanishing point, and it helps me doing my lines. And now I know that my building will be somewhere like this, and on the side it's gonna follow the lines like that, okay? So what do I see? The highest point is around here. So that's a good beginning, no mistake. I'm getting the help of my 2 vanishing points, so no mistake possible. Then let's find the point at the left. What can I say about that? So look, for example, the distance from the side to the point here. I report this distance here, and it comes there. So it seems that if I divide this from here in 2, I'm going to get that point. So my building will be between these 2 lines, okay? Then, as we are low in altitude and we are looking something very high, the 2 sides are not going to be like that, but just a bit pointing in the sky on a vanishing point which is very high in the sky. I can't do it, so I just know that I'm going to have to do something not parallel. I'm doing so. Then I've been to this building and I know that it's not flat but round, and we can guess the roundness of the building here. So there's a line that's going to follow my vanishing points, but at the same time I'm going to bend it a little bit like that, okay? Then I got to make the symmetric thing, second tower over there, and this triangle with these 3 arches. Still working with my vanishing lines. It makes the life so easy. I got the 3 statues over there. And again, I need my vanishing points and lines. I don't know exactly what I'm doing over there. There's some few things that I'm going to check that later. It seems to be a statue. I see the flag. There's another flag here. Okay, it's coming. I can see now the building clearly down. That's the road. There's someone walking over there. And now we're gonna be able to do a bit more of the details. So we got a statue here, and I guess it's Victor Emmanuel. This is in Italy, Roma. I said it before, right? And then we got all these arches enlightened. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful. Okay, and all these arches are enlightened by the inside. Okay, what about the skies? They all follow a line somewhere because it's always windy in the sky, right? So they all go at the same place, at the same direction. So think about that. But the clouds, they have a vanishing point also. It's not about just doing some hazardous shapes in the sky. No, try to do something organized. Think about that. It's important. Then, okay, now I have my building. I would like to draw the light. And what do I see? The center of the picture is in light. It's warm, it's yellow, orange, quinacridone, I would say, that area. The rest is blue and darker, and we have the sky. So the only difficulty that I'm gonna have here is to paint that, but with a clear edge in the sky, because I don't want the sky to come and taint this. That's a part of the success of this watercolor. We're gonna have to do that very yellow and warm, and all the rest is cold and darker. Okay, so let's start, and we go step by step, little by little. I'm now taping my paper. I want to have some clear, nice edges. You'll see later why I do that. Okay. And there also. And I'm gonna leave the sky free of tape. Okay. I'm just gonna take time to clean my palette because it's not clean. And we're gonna start painting. Ready? Here we go. So look, this is my dirty palette, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna tell you what I have in it. So I've kept that because I'm gonna maybe use that later. It's some phthalo blue, but don't consider it. What is important that I get here some royal blue by Sennelier, red cadmium, yellow cadmium, both are done by Winsor & Newton, and very important here I have some quinacridone sienna. This is a color that is made by Daniel Smith. Very good color. I highly recommend that you buy this one. We're gonna wet the paper thanks to the spray. Okay, and now I'm gonna paint the light and only the light. How? By first painting with the yellow, the lightest value that I see. Okay, and we have a bit over there. I'm gonna take also some quinacridone sienna. So this is only the yellow cadmium. Where do I put my sienna? Well, I think that I need to put some here. Okay, there. Probably somewhere there. And now I'm gonna kill this fire by adding some royal blue in it, but not a lot, just enough to kill the warmth of this color. And I paint the bottom part. My goal is not to get the color and the right value everywhere, not to get some hard edges neither. I just want to make something that is okay. Nothing spectacular yet. Okay. And what about the sky? Well, I'm not very sure of the sky if I should do it or not now. We could maybe show an intention in the sky, not doing anything like definitive, but with the royal blue and a lot of water, maybe I need some more blue. Okay, I think it's enough. And I think this is a good start, okay? You could maybe take a synthetic brush, some yellow, and come and make some little fine-tuning like here, finishing this white there. And probably it would be also a good idea that we bring some quinacridone on behind the arches, okay? Starting to put this rhythm of the arch. Okay, so the temptation to do more is big, but trust me, just let the paper now dry. Just removing a bit of yellow here. It's okay. Yeah, we're gonna let that dry. I think it's gonna work. Let's try it like this. Okay, this is dry. Check with the back of your hand. When you touch the paper, you don't have to feel anything. That's the only way to make sure that it is totally dry. So then, as we are painting with watercolor, we assume that we go from light to dark. And we've started with the light values. But what do we have to do next? What is the darker? Is it the sky or the walls? So if I squint my eyes, I can see that the next step that I have to paint, respecting this rule going to light to dark, it's gonna be the sky, you know what? So I'm gonna paint the sky because I wanna stick to the process. Having a process and sticking to it, that's very, very, very important. So I got in my palette some phthalo blue, and I'm gonna use this blue because I think it's exactly the one I need to paint so my sky. So remember, I've told you about the direction of the clouds. The more I go down, the less I got pigments, the drier my brush is. And that will allow me to do a kind of gradient from top to bottom. Hey, I need some more into the palette. I'm running out of phthalo. For those who was wondering how this is written, PHTALO. Okay, that's a very powerful pigment, so we don't need to get some big quantity into the palette, okay? And here I go. So do I want to paint around my building? Yes. So I'm doing that carefully, as you see. Okay. What should I do now? Trying to get some kind of clouds effect in the sky. How can I get that? Maybe by adding some water here and there, and let the water do the work of the water. Let her go, and we're gonna see what it looks like once it's dry. Is it a good idea or not? I don't know. Now I'm thinking about the rest. So there's some things that I'm gonna paint now because it's wet and I need to get some soft edges over there because it's a bit the same value between the sky and the building, but here it's clearly darker, so this I'm gonna do that later. Okay, so when it's the same kind of value, you can paint the things at the red at the same time. Let's do the bottom. Okay. Probably I should take a smaller brush. This one, I feel that it's too big and I'm gonna lose a few details working so. Yes, good decision. Very good. I had to soften the edges over there, like that. When you want to get a gradient, I recommend that you put your thumb and you press the paper, thumb or any finger free to use. So as you see, I'm painting the shadows, and by doing so, I'm showing the volumes. And when you think about that, this is logic. Shadows plus light means volumes. It's obvious. Okay, so I'm soon done with that step. I'm just fine-tuning a little bit the colors, trying to correct a few shapes, see what I can do, trying to get the best from this step. So don't paint too much, just fix the volumes. Make sure that we understand the volumes, that's already a lot. Background, I like to say that a background has to remain a background, so don't do too much with the background. If you put too much details on the background is going to become like a foreground or enter the competition with the foreground, and this is not good. The background does exist only to show better the foreground. Okay, I'm just trying to see if this is useful or not, but I don't think so. Okay, now I'm gonna let that dry. I'm happy with the result. Yeah, I know that I'm still not done. There's a lot of things to finish, but I think it's gonna be okay. Okay, look, this is dry. What are we going to use for the last step? So I'm gonna add some more quinacridone and Sienna Daniel Smith into the palette. And I got also this Phthalo blue. Let me show you. Phthalo blue and quinacridone and Sienna. I also got some rest of red and yellow cadmium. This is an old cobalt green that I'm not gonna use, I think. Up. Okay, and as a brush, I'm gonna use that one. It's a synthetic one. It's very cheap. I mean, don't need to buy something very sophisticated when it's about getting some synthetic brushes. I'm mixing my quinacridone Sienna and a little bit of blue, and I want to get something dark but warm at the same time. And I'm gonna try to paint now, not the details, but the things that are very dark, like all these arches, okay? But at the same time, I'm thinking that I should, before I'm getting into these kind of details, make sure that my, no, that was too early. I shouldn't have done that now, but I should have done that later. I just want to first finish with the shadows and the volumes. Okay, can you see the road? We're gonna try to do that like the path on the road. So that's where the statue is, and also there. This is okay. Oh yeah, I should do now this one. So I'm scanning actually the picture, trying to find the little things that I can improve. So it's about the details and your ability in seeing the problems and solving them. But as my two first steps were okay, I don't have a lot of things to fix. I think it's good. And over there, yeah, maybe some cast shadow over every arch. There is a kind of shadow. Well, what do you think? Are we good? Does it looks like on the photo? The colors are not very nice. I mean, this is a screen, so it's about light, and that's a paper, so that's the difference. We don't have a backlight, but I like it. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna try to show the inside of every arch. You see that? And since the beginning, since I started to paint that, I know and I knew that I had to do that at a moment. I'm going to try to do it now. So every single arch has to be done. Sorry. I'm concentrated, focusing on that. And at the same time, we get a kind of inside gradient. I'm not very sure that it's going to work, but again, I trust my process. So now I'm getting really into the details. We got a kind of door, same here. A column here in the corner. So do we want to do everything? No, I don't think so. We just want to suggest enough to make sure that we understand what we see. But if I go too far into the details, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to lose the spontaneity and the sketchy effect. Because this is my only goal when I paint. It's to spare the number of brushstrokes and to get a nice result with the less I can. Is it clear? I don't know. I think so. Okay. Hey, I told you that I had some cobalt green over there, so I'm gonna use that because we have got a statue here. And cobalt green is a catchy color that's gonna help in bringing the attention on this statue. This statue is important as it's probably the guy whose for this statue has been done. Okay, let's do the arches now there. 1, 2, 3. Important to count. As I got 3 there, I'm gonna have 3 there. Yes, yes, yes. It's coming, little by little. Trusting the process once again. Okay. Now, I'm gonna work on that as this is one of the focal point, I guess. It's pointing, it's a corner. We got some horses over there. That's an angel and 4 horses. And we got exactly the same on the other side. That's probably not an angel, okay? If you know it, correct me. Okay, so at the same time that I paint, my eyes are scanning the picture, so you don't see it because it's on my phone. It's yeah, we got a fountain here. Didn't notice it before. Some decoration, the stones. This is very, very nice. I mean, not the watercolor, the place. Roma is very impressive. It's not very far from my house, but I've been only once and would love to come back. In fact, Italy is one of my favorite countries, but I don't know Italy. I should go there more often. I'm gonna be there in April 2026 and September also because I have some workshops over there. One with Onda Creativa and the other one with Marcello Mutti. He's a friend of mine. So Onda Creativa is close to Venice. And Marcello is in Albino, close to Bergamo. Okay. So I'm still happy with the result. There's a few things that I could have done better, but honestly, this is a small size. Could have been worse. Now I'm gonna care a bit more about the details, but not the obvious detail, the things that was gonna bring like a second level of lecture. The thing that you don't see at the first sight, but at the second one you say, oh wow, okay, he did that. interesting. And I'm gonna also change the side of my brush for even smaller. Okay, time to stop. I'm gonna let that dry. Erase also. I'm gonna erase the graphite and see what I have to do to finish that properly. So look, this is the day after. I've let the pigment dry without my hair dryer. What does that mean? That the pigments are deeper into the paper, and I think that it's better to let the natural atmosphere dry your paper instead of the hair dryer. Of course, you need to have time and you need to be into your studio because you need time. I'm gonna erase now. So it's not because the graphite has been done and put on the paper before the pigments that the pigments protect the graphite and you can't erase. No, the pigments, they go through the graphite and into the paper, and the graphite stays at the surface because it doesn't go into the paper. So with a white eraser, a soft one, very classic, you can erase the graphite and then recover a bit of light. It's gonna enlighten the scene just a little bit. Oops, it moved. Sorry about that. Oh, okay, so let's compare that to the picture now. I think that I'm gonna have to do something about the sky because the sky looks with more nuances between the values than what I have here. I think it's too much the same value, so I'm gonna try to do something about that. Then I'm gonna check on my picture all the little details that I can add to my watercolor to bring my watercolor to a better level of figurative and realism. That's the word. I need to do not a lot, but I need to do a few things. Okay, so first the sky, second all the little tiny details that I'm going to add with small and synthetic brush and very saturated and black pigments. Okay, that's going to be the last step, the very last one. Let's go the sky first. I'm going to re-wet a bit my paper. So again, it's very, very dry because I've let the night do its work. So I don't need to wet everything. And then I pick up some Tailor blue that I have into my palette and I come and I just apply it like this, trying to remember that we had some lines to show the direction of the clouds. Difficult to say if it's better or not, but this is what I see on the picture, so I just try to apply that. If I want to remove, if it's too much, then I just take my brush, clean it in the water, dry it, and then I go reverse and remove some of the pigments here and there. Have to watch out about that, pay attention not to fall into the light. You could do that also with a synthetic brush. Again, you wet, you dry, and you remove. You lift, that's the correct word, right? Not remove, but lift. Okay, I see here that could do that better, like, okay, and also at the right, it's always good to add in the sky, closer from the horizon, some little touches, big touches over there because it's close, and little touches over there because it's far. So it helps in showing a better, oh no, it's falling again, sorry. It helps doing so in showing the depth of the scene, because depth is very important in painting, more than in photography. You have to show, to exaggerate the depth in painting. Okay, let's zoom and see how it looks like. Okay, now we're gonna let that dry, work on the small little things that I said, and we're gonna be done and remove the tape. Okay, so last step, okay? I'm gonna re-put the photo here, so you got everything. So, I was painting with that brush, which is a very affordable one, a cheap one that I've bought in Michael's or Hobby Lobby, I don't know, one of the other shop. Oh no, it's a Winsor & Newton, but honestly, you don't need to have some good stuffs like that. You can have the cheapest one. It's only a brush that we want to have pointing here at the extremity, and just have the ability in taking some pigments into the palette and just applying the pigments. So nothing extraordinary, no need anything expensive at this step. This is my palette. It's the same since the beginning. I have some indigo blue, phthalo blue, red, yellow cadmium, a bit of quinacridone here, but the color that I'm going to use at this step the most is probably the indigo blue. Oops. So I'm gonna add a bit of indigo blue into my palette, just to be sure that I have the darkest color that I could get. Something like that. Indigo blue is just perfect. Let's zoom into the picture now and try to do better on my painting a few things. So what do I see? For example, this, so the building should have a better triangle over there. That's going to help. I also see that I missed the size, the side, sorry, not the size, the side of the tower. We have a few things where the statue is. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I see few things, so I do few things. Quinacridone sienna, I want to see that better, so I'm just reloading with a few pigments to improve the saturation of that. Under every single arch I see something dark. I already did it, but should improve it on. No, I'm gonna let that as it is. I'm gonna show better now the statue here, enlightened by the bottom. What does it mean? That everything that is not enlightened, so away from the bottom, gonna have to be darker. And this is what I do. Now I think we see better the horse. I'm gonna zoom. Okay. Going on now. So we got the flags. I'm gonna do that at the very last step. Got a few things over there. Hey, look, we have some signals on the road. Do we try to do them? I think that's the kind of stuff that I like in a picture, because it helps in having a better realism. First time I'm gonna use the gouache. Now, so don't be afraid of the gouache, use it. The gouache is always very white when you apply it, but once it's dry, you've lost like 60% of the intensity of the white. So even if you think it's too white when you apply it, trust the fact that it's gonna lose its intensity. You should more consider that it's not translucent but opaque, and that is more important with the gouache, because you could kill the fact that since you started painting you work with some transparent colors, but once you start putting gouache you start losing this transparency that you have since you began to paint. So use it, but not too much, I would say. If it helps in getting a better light, no problem, but don't do the details with it. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, back to the colors. Let's give a bit of rhythm here because I see it. Got something. Now I would like to go on the floor, on the ground, on the level of the ground. We got the statue there. I guess we have some soldiers wearing a flag. Roma is definitely the city with the most beautiful statue that I've seen. Strong heritage, legacy from the past. One pole for the flags, a second one, so it's supposed to follow the vanishing lines. So remember, I got my point on the right, on the left, so this one is following the lines from the left point. Here is my second pole. I'm gonna do the flags at the end. I want to do like people walking around. So doing people is not about the details, but where you put them and how dark and saturated the pigments are once you paint them. So for example, I got a part here that is lighter, and we got this crossing area, I don't know how to say, crossing zone. So I'm gonna just put some touches like that, and that's enough. I don't need to do more to show that I got people over there. Okay, I'm gonna stop soon because I'm starting to think that I'm doing too much. So I'm gonna just now do my flags using a green and a red. Green, always use my cobalt green. Now a bit of red mixed with some indigo. Just make sure that it's still visible that you have a red. No, it's too blue. Let's add a bit of red in it. Okay, as I have some red into my brush, let's do some red touches on the people that I've created here. Even if it's very discreet, it helps. And now the white of the flag, again I'm going to use some gouache and put the white touch there between the green and the red of the flag from Italy. Okay. Well, so I am used at each time that I finish a watercolor to take the gouache, go straight into the tube, and then each time I see something white that I forgot or I covered with pigments, I just try to get it back. And this is the scene, like the shooting was made early in the morning or late in the evening, in the afternoon. So there's not a lot of things to paint. Yes, I'm done. Just gonna remove now the tape. Zoom a little bit out. We'll remove the tape. Here we go. On the right, on the bottom. Okay, so that's exactly what I would do if I was painting outside plein air, willing to do a night scene. I would not do more than that, as I think that everything has been done correctly. Then, like it or not, that's another debate, but technically I think it's okay. So what I like to do, since a short while, that's something quite new with me, because the more I paint outside, and like in the carnet de voyage mood or urban sketching. I don't consider myself as an urban sketcher, more still like a watercolorist, but the more I go, the more I paint in sketchbooks. So can I say that I'm a sketchbooker? I don't know. But each time I go somewhere and I do a painting, I'm used now to write where it is, and I don't want to write it small and tiny here. No, I'm gonna put that big, like if it was the cover of a book. My trip to Roma, and I write it like this. Roma. A date somewhere. So we are in February. '26. I gotta sign that. So where can I sign that? Everything is dark, but I'm gonna put 3 letters here. GFA 27. And here it is, my friend. I finished